So the theme of the Labyrinth is all about getting rid of layers of illusion, false identities, finding your way through the false matrix, recognizing the way they distract you, all of that. So one of the first guides that kind of stepped forward, because we were working with Kurt Cobain last month. He was coming in with some references around this theme, and he swears. Okay, so you guys know this about Kurt, so I have to be authentic to his words. So he basically gave this message: when shit gets confusing and you don't know what to do, like when you're in a dream state, because that's kind of what the movie represents as well. It's almost like she's in a dream, right? Trying to find her way out. You look for anomalies. What doesn't seem to make sense? Like he's saying, like, this doesn't make sense. You look for anomalies. This doesn't make sense. That's a portal, meaning when you find an anomaly, something that doesn't make sense, that's a portal. An opportunity to, one, be okay that you don't get it, and two, don't react to not getting it. Three, hold on. I thought my internet was doing something weird, so I gotta keep an eye on it because it's wonky today. Okay. View it, and then three, view it as a portal. So the triggers are the portals. So these are like tricks to the labyrinth, right? And this is represented in the movie where the girl, the reason why she's able to be successful and finding her way eventually through the labyrinth is because she, sorry about my voice today, it's in and out, is because she stays calm. She doesn't overreact. She doesn't like get scared. Like no matter what he throws at her that's supposed to scare her, she doesn't get scared. She just stays calm and she just stays tuned, right, to her higher heart, her ability to just know how to ask the right questions and find her way out. And so he's saying, like, don't react to something if it doesn't make sense. Know that's a portal. It's okay if you don't fully understand what that's saying, but don't react to not getting it. View it as a portal. The triggers are the portals. They're an opportunity to shift into another timeline or parallel reality. So those are our openings. Those are our cues, so to speak, that something's off here, but it's an opportunity to choose a different path, right? Don't react, because then you get like afraid, right? You're afraid something's off, it doesn't feel right, something feels confusing, funny to you. When you stay grounded and centered in your heart, you don't allow that fear to take over. You can see kind of behind all of that what the highest path is. That's what he's saying. So he was saying, you are living in a reality that was intentionally built by the Anunnaki to confuse the hell out of you. Look at all the areas you feel confused or see distortions as an opportunity to recognize the truth, your truth. If freeing yourself is the ultimate goal, the Matrix was intelligently designed to fool you. And that is why it's a fool's journey, referencing the tarot deck, because the tarot deck is all about the fool's journey, which is also the hero's journey when we talked about that with Joseph Campbell, to get to the other side of what freedom actually means. So he says one more time, and that is why it's a fool's journey, to get to the other side of what freedom actually means. Trick number one: if you believe anyone outside of yourself has more power and authority over you to create your own reality, you're wrong. So in essence, there's nothing to fear. Some of these could be from Loki too, because he was popping in and out. He's always in and out. And I like I said, I did my best to organize these notes, but I can tell they're a little bit all over the place. So I don't know if that was Kurt's full message or not, but I think it was one of his messages, and then and part of this might be Loki as well. Because like I said, these come out of order, but I tried to order them in reference to the theme. Okay, so let me check the comments and see. So we still just have Babette and Faith here, but that's okay. I'm glad you guys could be here. Yay. And I'm not by myself, but I'd be doing it either way. Okay, so back to here. Sorry, my notes got a little. So basically, yeah, if you believe anyone outside of yourself has more power and authority over you to create your own reality, you're wrong. That's it. So in essence, there's really nothing to fear. We are being called um stop trying to change the outside. We're being called to change the inside. And that requires humility sometimes and grace, right? Um then I had my twin kind of pop in and say, another thing about the labyrinth, he said, was the tricks have always been there. You are just learning how to see them. So all these tricks they've been playing with for on us for a long, long, long time. We're just now waking up and learning to actually see what the tricks are. Um, and he said, I think this came from my twin or Loki, possibly, that they create the illusion of lack so they can have more. Lack doesn't exist under God's law or natural law. So that's one way that they're keeping us completely um like demobilized, right, within our own power, within our own sovereignty, within our own is they take they keep us in poverty, they keep us like down, right, they keep us like working hard, right, to just survive, the very basic, level of survival. And it's always like, there's always some kind of like mass fear about, just the economy and everything, just how they do that. They keep us in lack, right? But they create the illusion of lack. So it's an illusion, obviously, but they do that so they can have more. But that's why there's such a disparity between, the elite and the the everyone else, right? Is because they do that intentionally so that they have more. When they create the illusion of lack and we buy into that illusion, that feeds them more. Okay, that's why they're able to do that. But under God's law, that's actually not how it works. If it wasn't for them creating that illusion and us believing in it, it wouldn't sustain. It wouldn't sustain. It doesn't sustain under God's law. It only sustains because we're buying into it. So we need to recognize that illusion is one of them. Oh gosh. So I did kind of like get a little bit um, out of order with these messages, but that's okay. Okay. So another thing, let's see. Okay, so Loki it said this: when you see with your real eyes, you will realize the truth. You will realize the real lies, and then you will see the truth. So, obviously, we are being trained, spiritually trained by our guides to see with our real eyes, to see past the limitations and the third dimensional illusion, the labyrinth, the false matrix, all of that, to know what's true and what's false. And that's what like we start to wake up or realize that they've been what the real lies are, like what the illusions are. So that's part of his fun message there, and fun way of saying it, as Loki always has those really succinct and powerful um, messages coming in. So okay, another thing that was said was teach what you know. Stop trying to teach what someone else knows. If you don't know that to be true for yourself, you don't know it. Then how can you know what someone else knows? You can't. It's a trick or an illusion. So he's kind of talking about like all of us just stop going outside so much for answers, right? Like, yeah, like connect and we empower each other and we learn from each other, and people do present information that sometimes is helpful for us. So it's not like they're saying not to, have like other sources of information. It's more just let that like stay tuned to your flow and don't worry so much about what other people are saying or believing or teaching even. And if it's not your truth, like, you don't have to own it. That's kind of what this was, a Loki message. You don't have to own it. You're just like, be the neutral observer and allow what resonates to resonate, and what doesn't belong to just leave. So but it's really about connecting to your truth center and not being so reliant on outside information to like help you navigate. I think they really want us stepping more and more and more into our power through our own spiritual discernment. I feel like that's they're kind of showing me right now that's a huge activation coming in with this solar eclipse. They're saying spiritual discernment. It's like we're getting galactivated, and I feel like it's not going to stop. Like, we're just going to become more and more and more and more able to see through the lies and trickery. And even with people that we know and maybe trust, like, we might find distortions. Or even with a distortion, it's not necessarily that they're wrong, even. It's more just that was their personal experience. That's what they know. So that's what they can teach about. Whereas, maybe you've had a different experience and that's what you know, and it might not always line up with their version of reality or anything, but you're here to stay true to your divine flow. And that's really what my guides have really been pushing me, like, just to remember, is like, Rachel, it's all about staying in your divine flow. Like, you have your own unique current and direct connection back to source. And I know we've talked about this probably on the last mission report. And it's so important to stay true to that and not let too many outside influences distract you from your direct route or mission. So really important messages coming in.